ICP holders, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. It's been an insane 48 hours for internet computer and in a positive way. I know that is really crazy to think about, especially, with the market conditions that we're seeing. But shout out to the ICP family, first and foremost for showing, insane amount of love on these updates. Again, as far as targets are concerned, so far, we've been, very precise. And, the targets that I've been speaking about ended up, retesting. But internet computer, like I said, showing a lot of strength against the broader market. We're going to take a closer look and see what's happening as we are going into November, 5th. If you're looking across the board right now, we're seeing a little bit of a bounce within the broader market. You're seeing some coins, seeing a nice time right now. You're looking at XPL up, WLFI, Aster, Pump, so on and so forth. But again, majority of the market, just cannot ignore what has been happening for the crypto markets over the last 1 week. And especially if you look at it from the monthly time frame, that it, makes more sense. But if you're looking at it on a weekly time frame, ICP is up 60%. Let's take a closer look and see what's happening, give you guys the daily analysis that, we're bringing out. But before we do that, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So looking at the price of internet computer right now, $4.87, and that's after a retracement. I'm going to share the charts with you guys. That's where you will see what internet computer was able to, do in such a short span of time. It's also up 5.6% right now, on the Bitcoin side of things. Valuation $2.7 billion, but that's not the exciting part. Look at the 24-hour trading volume right now for internet computer, sitting at a staggering $1.2 billion. And again, you guys know I do polls on my channel, and you can see, 3 days ago, literally at the beginning of this month, I said November is here. Which coin do you think will shock everyone this month? 1,300 of you voted. And usually, this is much higher. But again, this also tells you the sentiment for the broader market. There is a very low interest right now within the crypto industry. And it can be seen, especially as a content creator, we see it firsthand. And I know other content creators can relate to that. But look at this. Obviously, a lot of you, left a lot of comments as well. And you can see one of my viewers says ICP. And at this point, it's just still been only about 4 days since the month has started. But could this really be the, most, gainer in terms of the month of November while the entire market is, on the downside, which is insane to think of. But let's take a closer look and see what's happening. So, again, if you're looking at the dominance, you guys could see for yourself, dominance went up to 61.3% right now. Obviously, internet computer and, the projects that have the momentum that are outpacing the market, they don't really, have an impact from the Bitcoin dominance nor Bitcoin. But again, something that is still worthwhile noting, and you do need to understand where the dominance is sitting, regardless of the price, outpacing the market or not. You just don't want to be ignoring these things. But you can see for yourself, we came up to 61.3%. We have pulled down since then, but again, as I've mentioned in my HBAR update as well, nothing to be getting overly excited about just yet. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, not gonna, bore you guys too much, but Bitcoin dropped below $100,000. It's pretty much trending everywhere. Everyone's talking about it because, the importance of that is the price of Bitcoin was not below the $100,000 price point since the month of June. So it's been quite some time since the price has been accumulating within this pattern, and dropping below is not something to be getting overly excited about. Yes, we've seen a little bit of a bounce. I'm sure you guys watched the market analysis update. We've discussed it. Obviously there's going to be some sort of a bounce. And again, if Donald Trump comes out tomorrow, and just says something extremely bullish for the market, then again, I think market will recover much faster. If not, I still do believe there is more downside, left within Bitcoin, especially after retesting this key range. I would love to be wrong, but again, we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But again, if you're looking at internet computer, see for yourself here, guys. See for yourself. $6.61. You just cannot make this up. I'm not making this up. $6.61. Remember what I was talking to you guys about when the price was around this key range, around that $3.50 price point? I was talking to you guys about, right now we need to be looking for a big confirmation, and that confirmation was to break above October 10th levels. And we did that. But not only we did that, we broke out of all these key resistance that we've seen throughout the year of 2025. The price of ICP was unable to retest above the $6.20 pretty much the entire year. And this is the first time where we went up to this $6.57 key, level. And you can see for yourself, we do have a resistance around that key range. But this itself is insane to think of. And again, the last time the price of internet computer was actually at that price point goes back to, you can see for yourself here, February of this year. There we have it. The entire market going down, internet computer moving up. Do insiders know something, or is it just market makers that are coming on board and thinking that internet computer is a good opportunity out there? But look at the volume. That's something also you don't want to be ignoring. I've obviously indicated that to you guys in the last night's update. We've never seen this much volume for internet computer, and you can see that right here. You can see it literally highlighting that for you. But with that being said, let's take a closer look on the hourly time frame and see what has been happening with internet computers. So see for yourself here. Again, I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, oh, well, why is the price going down? Nothing is going to go up straight in one line. It's not sustainable, and there is going to be profit taking. There's going to be, a little bit of a correlation with Bitcoin. And yes, Bitcoin, once it did drop below the 38.2, below the $100,000, we did see internet computer reacting. But we also need to keep in mind what a lot of people don't realize. You might think, and when I say you, like maybe if you have a thinking, oh no, internet computer is just going to continue to go up. It's not, you're not going to be locking in profits, this and that. That doesn't mean someone else is not going to do that. People look at the market conditions, and if a project outpaces the entire market, that doesn't, just leave the entire market sentiment out of the picture. You people still understand, hey, you know what, the conditions of the overall market are still not good. Uncertainty is still quite high, and people do lock in profits. And we have seen that here happening. You can see for yourself, we went up to $6.57. Since then, the price has gone down 26%. Profit taking definitely occurring. And anyone that is locking in profits, especially the people that bought like on Halloween, you could have bought internet computer on Halloween at $2.79. Since then, internet computer went up 137% again. No one saw this coming. And I said this in my last few updates. If you were to come and tell me this, I would have said, the chances of that are quite slim. And this is what I'm not understanding. Obviously, I've shared this with you guys on the channel before in terms of the blockchain itself. A lot of people on CT, a lot of community members think that this blockchain is a major undervalued blockchain, and it's like an underdog compared to the big boys. But at the same time, you just cannot make that comparison with the big boys, as I've stated to you guys before. Look at the on-chain metrics. Look at the liquidity on-chain. You could also look at the development side of things. You just can't compare it, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have that potential and the opportunity. Altcoins, let's face it, haven't really had a time. A lot of solid projects, not just internet computer. There's a lot of solid projects with real utility that haven't been able to perform, and this is why we call this cycle to be very strange, very different, specifically for altcoins. Yes, there are some altcoins that still did perform really nicely with Bitcoin. Solana is one of them. I can name a lot. Solana, XRP, BNB. Even I can make an argument. Even HBAR, reached 38.2 fib zone earlier this year. There's a lot of projects that that did really, really well. But at the same time, there's a lot of projects that didn't really do anything and that are close to where they were in the bear market. So again, these are maybe insiders or market makers or even long-term believers that are saying, hey, you know what, this is an opportunity, especially from a long-term perspective, and that are accumulating right now. But look what happens with Zcash. Look what happened with Dash. I think, again, I would love to be wrong, but for Dash, this project was literally in the low 100, like one, it was actually below 150 or actually higher than 150. I'm not too sure, like maybe 170th rank before this major move. So what I'm pretty much trying to say is valuation was nothing in this day and age. So of course, the opportunity and market makers can literally step in and pump the price really easy. And of course, that privacy aspect and the label that it has for itself, once Zcash went up to that level, obviously, then you start to see people look into different privacy coins, and Dash ended up going. But again, if you are holding Dash and you're not locking in profits, I would not be doing that. I would be locking in profits at the end of the day, no matter what. But you can see for yourself, internet computer, obviously it's seeing correction right now. But again, I want you guys to keep in mind where we were just yesterday. $3.66. So pretty much an 80% increase, a crazy price, gain for internet computer right now. Obviously right now, let's actually take a look at it on a daily time frame and see, where we are currently being supported. So yeah, there is some support around this range. Not some, there's significant amount of support. But if you were to ask me, Crypto ZX, where is major support? I would say around $4.60, give or take. There we do have significant amount of support, and we could retest that if Bitcoin does not hold around these levels. So that's that. Obviously, right now, again, with the market conditions, if you were to ask me, Crypto ZX, would you be, getting into internet computer? This is how I would look at it for me personally. Again, this is me personally. Obviously, number one, I would do my due diligence research and invest what I can afford to lose. But obviously, if I have a long-term horizon, then I want a dollar cost average. I would definitely be dollar cost averaging in, around this price point rather than, look at it where it was back on March of last year at $20.58. So obviously, from that perspective on, and as I've mentioned to you guys before, circulation supply tokenomics looking the best ever in the history of internet computer, and obviously in the terms of development for their blockchain, the enhancements they're making, that is obviously attractive as well. But right now, at the same time, you just cannot ignore where the market is currently at, because let's face it, just because you are obviously, if you're in for the long haul, it doesn't matter, then patience is your number one key to follow. But if you're here to still make a swing and make some profit, and you have made those profits, then you want to lock those profits in. Pretty much simple as that. So right now, we are being supported. You could actually come down to $4.60 for ICP. But again, if the price of Bitcoin is able to push back into this key zone, I think internet computer could really, fill this wick much quicker than a lot of people are realizing. And I don't even think, internet computer needs Bitcoin to get back in the 23.6 for it to do that. But you want to see this support holding though. If this support does not hold, then that is something we don't want to be looking, slightly. Let me know in the comments what you guys personally think. Thank you so much for all your support. Internet computer showing, I'm sorry, internet computer family showing tremendous amount of support. Means the world to me. Continue supporting, and your boy got you covered on these updates. Follow me on X if you have not done so already. We'll see you later. I'm in Crypto ZX, and peace.